إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار نعوذ بالله من النار ومن حال أهل النار. All praise is due to Allah. We praise Him, we seek His help, and we seek His forgiveness. We seek refuge in Allah from the evil of ourselves and the consequences of our bad deeds. Whoever Allah guides, there is no one that can lead him astray. And whoever Allah allows to go astray, no one can guide. I testify that there is nothing worthy of worship except Allah. He's alone without any partners, and I testify that Muhammad is His servant and His messenger. O you who believe, be conscious of Allah. Give Him what He deserves. Be mindful of Him. Do what He commands and stay away from what He forbids. And do not die except in a state of submission as Muslims. O mankind, be conscious of your Lord, your Master who created you from a single soul, and from it created its mate, and from them both spread many men and women. Be conscious and be mindful of Allah. Allah, the one that you demand your mutual rights by, and do not cut off your family ties. Indeed, Allah is ever watchful over you. O you who believe, be mindful and conscious of Allah. Put a separation between yourselves and His punishment. Say that which is correct. Say that which is honest. If you do so, Allah will forgive you your sins and will grant you success if you obey Allah and His Messenger. As to what follows, the best narrative is the speech of Allah in the Quran, and the best guidance is the guidance of our beloved Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The worst affairs are issues that people invent in this complete way of life. Every invention in the religion leads astray, and everything that leads astray leads to the fire. We seek refuge in Allah from the fire and the circumstance of the people of the fire. Allah Azza wa Jal gives us many stories in the Quran. It was one of the methods of our beloved Messenger to share stories with his community, because stories resonate with people, especially when you have something in common with the storyteller or with whatever took place in the story. Recently, I came back from the city of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam after spending some time there, alhamdulillah. And one of our teachers had shared a story with us, a real life story that he experienced. The story goes a little like this. This teacher is in modern day Saudi Arabia, you know, the oil-rich kingdom, where you expect that people live lavish lives and they're very wasteful. And you hear a lot of things about that in the news. I'll save you the trouble. You already know about these things, or you heard about these things. So this sheikh, after Salat al-Asr, he's walking back home and he sees his neighbor. And the neighbor is standing next to the trash container, a huge trash container. They don't have the little individual house trash containers there. So he's standing right next to that, and then he peeps inside. He goes inside, grabs something, puts it back, and goes home, you know, as if nothing happened. So our teacher, the scholar, sees this and he's troubled. He's like, this man lives in my neighborhood and I don't know that he's in need. This is very problematic. Now our teacher has many charitable projects and relief efforts and stuff like that. So this is something that concerns him. He actually runs something called the charitable warehouse in the city of Medina. So he sees this and he's really troubled. So he says, you know what, let me visit my neighbor for the sake of Allah and find out things that I may not know. So he goes and he knocks on his door and the man welcomes him in and how you doing, and it's so good seeing you, you know, you're a scholar and thank you for visiting us. And the sheikh is troubled. He sees the house, mashallah, is pretty neat. It's pretty clean. The man seems to be fairly well off. He's not a person who's struggling with poverty. So he tells them, you know, he's like, mashallah, may Allah bless you and increase you. That's what you're supposed to say when you see a believer with blessings. So he says, may Allah bless you, but I was very troubled to see what I saw. And he told him, can you explain to me what the story was? He's like, yeah, sure. Very easy. Basically, I saw some food in the trash, and I felt awful to see that someone would throw the blessings of Allah, throw food that is edible still in the trash. So I took it because I don't think food deserves to be humiliated like that. It's one of the blessings of Allah. I took it and brought it home to clean it up. And if I can fix something with it, I'll take it. And if not, I'll give it to somebody else. Basically, I'll make use of it. So the chef's like, okay. He's like, but I'm going to tell you what my story is. Because maybe this, you might think, you know, I'm going overboard here. Basically, I made a promise to Allah a long time ago that whenever I see food that is humiliated like this, thrown away and wasted, even though it's good food that could be consumed, then I would not allow this to happen. A long time ago. So this man now is telling my teacher his own story before it became the, you know, what you know it as today, the riches and stuff like that. He says, I used to live in Mecca 1 year, and I was married with a daughter. And we went through a very rough year that year. I didn't find employment. I was unemployed. And every single day I would go out to the market seeking employment. You know, just like these people who stand on the sidewalks seeking somebody to pick them up. He says, I would wait for somebody to rent my services, take me to carry something, do some labor, what have you, or even just give me something. And many days I wouldn't have anything, and a period of time of 3 consecutive days happened where I would come back home having nothing, where my wife and daughter would be looking out for me, waiting for me to give them something. That's how severe our hunger was. And I was really, you know, empty-handed, completely. Nobody hired me. I couldn't get anything. So I decided, you know, a plan and a plot came to my mind, which is to sell my daughter off. To sell her off as a slave, as a servant. And the thought was bugging me so much, I said, I have to talk to my wife about this. We got to make family consultation time. And he says, I go and talk to my wife, and she says, are you out of your mind? What's wrong with you? How can you think this way? And she's like, fear Allah, be mindful of Allah, be conscious of Allah. You're selling your own daughter? So he's like, look, this is not by choice. You see how far we're struggling? We're adults. We could be patient a few more days. This girl's gonna die. Why don't you clean her up, comb her hair, and I'll take her out to the market. Hopefully somebody will buy her, and at least they will put food in her stomach. She won't suffer anymore. She will survive. This is out of His mercy. Now, a father would not do this out of choice, if you will. So he convinced her, and she dressed her up, combed her hair, and he took her to the market. At that time, not too long ago, 60 years ago, there was slave markets, which are really for servants. They're not what we feel is slavery in Western, Western eyes, because the slave would eat with what you eat and live with you and so forth. Anyway, so he goes to the market and he sees a Bedouin coming out, and he looks at the girl and he sees her, you know, she's not bad, and at the same time, he feels that the price was pretty decent. He didn't even ask for much. He was just struggling. And he sold her, basically. They had a transaction and he sold her for 12 silver coins. The man is ecstatic. He's very happy. The first thing he does, the only thing that's available in Mecca at that time is dates. And animals whenever they do sacrifice animals. So he goes to the date market and he buys a bucket of dates. He pays 2 coins for it. And he tells the guy, okay, please help me, just follow me to the house because I don't have the strength to carry anything. I mean, just imagine a guy with no food for 3 consecutive days. So he runs to the house. He's so excited. He brought food back to his wife, who's also struggling and hungry. And he turns around and he lost the guy. And he's like, this is not good. Okay, so no problem. I still have some money. Let me go back to the market and buy another bucket. He goes back to the market and he puts his hand in wherever he was keeping the coins, and he had lost the money. I mean, can it get any worse than this? He just sold his daughter, he bought dates, he thought he was going to survive, and then now he's struggling some more because you kind of like, your saliva is going, you see food, you're going to eat it, you're excited to go home, and it's disappointing. So he says, you know what, I'm in Mecca, let me go to the house of Allah, to the Kaaba. So he goes to make tawaf. I mean, he has nothing else to do right now. He's just waiting for death to overcome him. And when he goes in to make tawaf, he sees the man and the girl, the one that was just sold, making tawaf. So he has another plot now. He says, I know what I'm going to do with this guy. I'm going to wait until he finishes his tawaf. He checks out of here. I go chase him. There was no skyscrapers at that time. It was little mud houses and stuff like that. He says, I'll chase him into one of the alleys. I'll kill him, take back my daughter, and nothing ever happened. Alhamdulillah. We're talking about a guy starving now. So don't, I'm going to pause right now. Whenever you're told stories in Islam, we're taught to worry about the moral of the story. Don't get into the details. How dare he? How could he think of this? Just wait. The moral of the story, inshallah. So, he sees the man. They make eye contact as they're doing tawaf. The man recognizes him. So then, after tawaf, they're praying the 2 raka'at. And the man looks back and he says, I want to talk to you. Who's this girl? He's like, oh, she's just my slave. I sold her to you. He's like, no, she's not. She's your daughter. I asked her, who's this man? And she said, that's my father. What would make you sell your own daughter? What is wrong with you? He says, you want to know the truth? I'll tell you the story. A, B, C, X, Y, Z. Tells him the whole story. And the man is like, you don't have to do that. He digs in his pocket. You know, they used to keep coins in bags. He's like, here, count this. And it turned out to be 30 coins. He's like, let's cut it in half. You take half, take 15, I take 15, and you take back your daughter. And don't you ever think about giving your daughter up. Now, we didn't even talk about anything spiritual here. The man never asked Allah to bring his daughter back. He wanted to kill homeboy and take his daughter back. Okay? So, there was nothing about spirituality here. The fact is, he was in dire need and he was hungry. He gets back his daughter. He's like, okay, first thing I'm going to do, I need food in this little child's stomach and her mommy and my stomach. Let's go back to the date market. He goes to the date market and he sees the guy that he bought the dates from. He's like, where are you at? He's like, uncle, I was chasing after you, but you went so fast and I lost you in, the alleys and the different... He's like, so I decided, come back to the market. Most likely he'll come back to me and to find me. And alhamdulillah, I found you. He's like, okay, man. MashaAllah. Why don't you come over to the house because I still don't have the energy to carry the bucket. Come over. He comes over and he's like, okay, can you please just put the dates down and take your bucket. So he throws the dates, and on the bottom of the bucket, the 10 extra coins were right there. So now how many coins does he have? Does anybody keep count? 25. No, this is not math class. And we don't want to laugh either, inshallah, out of respect for the khutbah. So he has the money back, he has his daughter back, and he says this: after Allah Azza wa Jal blessed me with this, I made a promise to Allah that I would forever be grateful for anything He blesses me with, and that I will never look down upon food, no matter how lowly it might be. And if I see it thrown away, I will take it, clean it, preserve it, and eat it. This is my story, he says. Can I be blamed for what I did? And of course he says that relief comes after hardship and difficulty, after tribulation, and ease comes after adversity. قولوا قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. May Allah forgive us all. الحمد لله رب العالمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of everything in existence. I bear witness that there is nothing worthy of worship except Allah. He's alone without any partners, and I bear witness that Muhammad is His servant and His messenger. I ask Allah to raise the mention of the Prophet Muhammad and to bless him and to have mercy on him, along with his family, his companions, and all those who follow his guidance till the last day. Brothers and sisters, it was one of the traditions and statements of the Prophet ﷺ who told us that اعلم أن النصر مع الصبر. Know for sure that victory comes with and after patience. وأن what else? وأن الفرج بعد الكرب. That relief comes after tribulation and difficulty and distress. وَأَنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. And that ease comes with and after difficulty. Allah Azza wa Jal reminds us of the same thing. And He says, إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. No matter how difficult it may seem, no matter what your struggle is, ease is on the way. Ease is on the way, and it's guaranteed. And it's proven time and again. These stories that we tell, they're true stories, and they're supposed to give us a bit of encouragement, because sometimes we look at things around us and we're struggling to understand what's the wisdom behind this. What's the wisdom that a man would be struggling? The wisdom, look at the end of the story. The man does not see trash or food in trash, except that he takes it and he eats it. He's grateful to Allah for every little morsel of food. And this was the practice of our beloved Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says, if a bite of food falls, don't worry about all the health freaks, the bacteria and stuff like that. He says, if a bite of food falls, pick it up, see if there is any harm in it, clean it if there is. If there isn't, say Bismillah and eat it. Do not leave it. Preserving the blessings that Allah Azza wa Jal has given us. We may be well off, but this story, even though you may say, well, this is, in the last century, but things are, we have people all over. We have people in our city right here who are struggling. Our brothers who work for charity work, they know this firsthand. Yes, they may not sell them as slaves, but maybe they sell them as prostitutes. Maybe they put them up for adoption. Maybe they kill them. Maybe they abort them because they cannot survive and they can't take care of them. Right? And then we're talking about larger community, Muslims and non-Muslims, even here in our areas. But how about the Muslims in the Muslim world that are struggling as well? We have the promise of Allah, victory will come with patience and relief will come after difficulty, and ease will come after stress and distress. We just have to believe in Allah, ask Him, seek Him, and see how the Prophet ﷺ struggled. Live his legacy. ﷺ. Learn from what he taught us. Learn that he used to clean the plate after he would finish eating. He wouldn't leave any spot on his plate. And in fact, he encouraged it. He says, lick the plate with your finger. Clean it clean, completely. You don't need a dishwasher after that. Right? Don't leave anything. Don't underestimate the blessings of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Don't look down upon the ni'mah of Allah, no matter what it is. And whenever you see that you're struggling, somebody else has bigger worries to worry about, as we just saw in this story. And don't look at people, again, why I said the moral of the story, people do things sometimes that you can't have a valid explanation for because they're struggling and they're going through a lot of pain. Instead of judging them and pointing the finger and saying, how dare he sell his daughter, how about helping him out? How about trying to find solutions if I can't personally help him out? We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to allow us to live this legacy of prophethood, the legacy of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who was sent as a mercy to mankind, a mercy to everybody, not just to the believers, but to everybody. May Allah Azza wa Jalla allow us to live His legacy and to revive His legacy amongst the people. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad, kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majid. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. Oh Allah, we ask you to bless the Messenger Muhammad, to have mercy on him, to shower him with grace, and to raise his rank, and to bless his followers as you did with those who followed the righteous prophets of the past. We ask you, O Allah, to grant us the good of this life and the good of the next life, and to protect us from the punishment of the fire. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. We ask you, O Allah, to give us the ability and to help us to remember you, to thank you for all the blessings that you've given us, to be grateful to you and to worship you in the best of ways. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. Oh Allah, show us the truth as truth and allow us to follow it and guide us to follow it. Show us falsehood as falsehood and keep us away from it and allow us to stay away from it. And don't make it ambiguous. ولا تجعله مشتبها علينا فنضل. Don't make it ambiguous that we may be led astray. اللهم اقسم لنا من خشيتك ما تحول به بيننا وبين معاصيك ومن طاعتك ما تبلغنا به جنتك ومن اليقين ما تهون به علينا مصائب الدنيا. متعنا اللهم بأسماعنا وأبصارنا وقواتنا ما أبقيتنا واجعلها الوارث منا واجعل ثأرنا على من ظلمنا وانصرنا على من عادانا ولا تجعل الدنيا أكبر همنا ولا مبلغ علمنا ولا إلى النار مصيرنا واجعل الجنة هي دارنا وقرارنا. Oh Allah, we ask you to grant us consciousness of you, fear of you that would prevent us from transgressing your limits and sinning against you. And grant us from acts of obedience and righteousness what will allow us to enter your paradise. And grant us sincerity, grant us certainty that will make the tribulations and difficulties of this life become easy for us. Allow us to enjoy everything that you've given us, our hearing, our seeing, our abilities, our powers, our energy. And don't make this material life our biggest concern. Give us victory over those who've transgressed and oppressed us. And don't make us oppress anyone or transgress the limits against anyone. Don't make the hellfire our destination, but make the blissful paradise our final abode. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين. I say this and I ask Allah to forgive me and forgive you and to forgive all the believers. May Allah have mercy on those who've passed, and may Allah give cure to those who are sick, and may Allah help the ones who are in need of help, and may Allah allow us to serve those who are in need. أقم الصلاة.